Okay, what we're going to be thinking about today is dealing with not just the sphere, but how to open space up, how to crisscross, build, and create kind of the illusions of depth, and practice your color pencil skills. You can just fill a page in your sketchbook and experiment. This is a result from several years back. The student really just stuck to spheres and tubes and maybe just a little bit of linear perspective. And you can kind of see that there's really nice color pencil technique. They're allowing the paper to kind of play a little bit. I do have this one that also shows you some sliced and diced illusions of space, and they're kind of working on the black paper. We'll stay in the sketchbook for now just to save on the white pencils, but the illusions are still the same. You can take very simple geometric shapes and build some really fun illustrative projects. One of the things that you can do is just your plain old normal method. Draw your sphere, and then you can begin to think of it as a orb or container, okay? A little bit of a closed space, and then opening it up by creating a crease or crevice. And then you have to kind of imagine what would happen back here in space if that was a sliced form. I can also kind of slice it once I've drawn it just by subtracting. Okay, so this is what I mean by sliced and diced. And then when I shade, I'm going to shade this sphere for the illusions of depth. I can open and close a box. I can do a triangle or a cone. I can do just a variety of objects and play around with the results of the surface. What I'd like you to do is maybe have at least 5 or 6 different forms that you've played with. One of the things you could also do, and I haven't drawn for you, is like a box. And let me go ahead and make sure that I let it overlap. I'm going to start with a frontal edge. Let me go ahead and get my ruler so it's a little bit straighter. And with that frontal edge, I can kind of begin to play with linear perspective. Now, I'm not going to use a vanishing point because I want to have some fun and just have an imaginary world. So I'm just going to send the lines back relatively the same and then create that box-like structure. The fun here is when I begin to start adding the shading or opening the box up. For most students, the box is most difficult. So what I usually do is just draw a box inside of a box. And then I make it into a cube by, again, repeating that interior angle. So this angle's out here, then this angle should be repeated here, and then I'm going to send this in. This might be some problem solving for you. I have some photocopy papers with some experimental open form shapes for you guys to kind of play with. What I'd like you to do is spend this class period, filling a page with items that are sliced and diced and floating, and then begin to play with the shading that's happening. Open the boxes. Cylinders open the same way that any shape opens. Once you draw it, you can freehand it, and then you simply will cut pieces out of it. You can cut an edge, and cut the front, and build it back. You can add another cylinder to a cylinder and extend. So what I'd like you to do, we used to call them creative art museums, right? Or just another world, floating in another world. And build a world for yourself of, and I'm going to go ahead and send this and let it come on out. And that gives an interesting, we'll kind of get this illusion that this is now pierced, the circle. Have some fun today building, right? Don't really worry too much about shading it. Just build yourself a page of sliced and diced forms. Let's go ahead and cut one more. Open them, deal with the interior, exterior, extend off of them, and continue to build a world for yourself.